Welcome everybody. This is Johnny Megs, here to review Build-A-Lot 3 Passport to Europe. Build-A-Lot 3 is a strategy game sold by Hipsoft. It's a real estate, city planning, structure building, neighborhood, beautifying, real estate game. And that took a little bit for me to say, but I think you'll really like this one. Build-A-Lot 3 is designed for children of all ages, adults, family-friendly game. I'm going to take you through a little bit of a quick tour here and touch on some of the elements why I like it and why I even bothered to review it. I think it's a solid game. It comes with a demo on the Hipsoft site, and you can give it a try if you like. And if you like it, I highly recommend that you purchase it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you a level or two to get a good feel for the game, and I guess let me know what you think in the comments. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off. If you've never played a Build-A-Lot game before, they're all fairly similar, but each has their own uniqueness to it. With this episode, number 3, we find ourselves in Europe, and we have guides that are going to take us through different areas of Europe, different architecture, different landscape, and we're going to help to beautify the countryside and retain it and regain it back to its former glory. Right off the bat, we start with England. And like any good, we have a very simple learning curve. To start off, we've got some tutorials here. Friendly instruction, colorful, straightforward stuff. What I'm going to do for this video, however, is I'm going to skip the tutorials. I'm fairly a veteran player of this game, so I want to give you a good taste of what it is with a little more in-depth. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a mission of Italy, or a level of Italy, which comes up, and we're going to get with some of the basics, and then I'll show you a more advanced level with how the game plays out later on. This game is well worth the time. It comes with 45 levels. We only skipped the first 3, if you notice in the lower left, because that was due to the tutorial that we passed. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Now, the game has just started for this level, and I want to identify a couple of things for you. Right here in our message from our host in the center, we have our tour guide for these next few missions. Angelino Giovanni. Now what Angelino is going to tell us is what we need to do to complete this mission requirement, or at least the goals for this level. In the very upper right of the screen we see goals for Italy. We have the requisite we need to pass. We need a Venetian blueprint, 2 Venetians to be built, a cottage, and a certain rent value. In this game you build structures, houses, and they generate a rent income. That rental income is then used to build or pay for materials, workers, blueprints, and beautify the houses that you already have. To the left a bit from our goals, we have our career earnings and our deadline. Career earnings is just how much money you've made as a realtor throughout your campaign. The deadline is how much time you have to complete each mission. Now you might notice there's a little tick in the center. If you beat the mission before the green line ticks down before that tick, you'll actually beat it with a super efficiency blue ribbon, and you'll get a nice little bonus for that. At the very bottom of the screen we have our money and goals, workers, materials, and blueprints. Our money and goals is a summary by neighborhood goals, what we need to do to complete the mission. Our money is our current cash on hand, and our collecting rent is a small timer to which our tenants pay the rent, and then we get that as income. Workers is the work staff that we have available to do tasks. We have 3 and 3 available. Workers are used to repair buildings, paint, landscape, upgrade the buildings, construct new landscapes, that sort of a thing. Materials is then used for, think of wood, nails, plaster, siding, that sort of a thing. That comes out of your materials. Building a house, building a new structure, upgrading it, that all comes out of materials. And then last but not least, blueprints. You need a blueprint in order to build a house. Anything, actually. You need to know how to build it before you can. So in this mission, our first one here, we actually need to build a Venetian, which we will after we purchase a blueprint. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. What we have here, we have 4 open lots on top. We have 2 cottages here, and we have an empty lot and a Venetian. Now, as the game starts off, Angelino's going to go through and explain little tips and tricks on how the game is actually played. As you can see, there's little arrows popping up and a little flavor text here and there. Tells us how to actually get started. What he recommends first off is we buy that Venetian blueprint, which we're going to do. After a couple of seconds, the blueprint is drafted, and then we can go ahead and actually build the building. Any of these 4 plots on top are ones that we own, and we can easily build our buildings on top of these. This one here that's empty hasn't been purchased by us and hasn't been surveyed yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select one of these open plots. We're going to construct a house, and we're going to go ahead and build our first Venetian. Now, as we build the Venetian, you may have noticed that our workers are now -2 because they're working on it, and then also the materials have also been subtracted. As the structure finishes, our 2 workers will return back to our worker pool, and we'll be able to build another structure, which we will, and we'll just go ahead and build another Venetian. Now, as the game progresses, certain structures will come for sale. As you can see right here, this empty plot, which we weren't able to build on, is now become open for sale. Angelino's also going through and is giving us suggestions on how to make a better sale offer. What we also need to finish up this mission is we need a cottage. So we're going to go ahead and build that. Again, Angelino's given us some good tips to keep going. Now again, this is just one of the first few levels, so it moves a little slow to begin with. The learning curve is nice, so anyone at any skill level can get a good grasp of the game fairly quickly. And our last objective we need is rent. We need a rent of 4,500. So I'm going to go ahead and click on money and goals, and it gives us a good idea. Oh, and everyone wants to chat. Get out of here. Under collecting rent, we can see what our current and potential rental income is. Now we need just a little more to get to that 4,500, so building another building is going to take care of that. So we're going to construct house. We're going to construct another cottage. That only takes 1 worker. Now, in addition to building, we can also do upgrades. For example, I'm clicking on selecting this cottage here. We can also upgrade it. First one was pretty simple. It'll get more complex as it goes on. The totals are summarized and added to our career earnings up at the top. Since we completed the mission before the deadline, and actually before that tick in the middle like I mentioned before, we actually got a blue ribbon which marks super efficiency. Later on in the game, if ever we want to replay any of our levels, we can see that we beat that level very quickly, considering that blue ribbon will show up. So I'll be back in a second, guys, and I'll catch you up on a much farther level in the game. As promised, I wanted to show you a level a little further ahead in the game. This is level 13. We're back to Italy. We've gone to Switzerland and Portugal and England in between. So, moving forward with this portion, we need to build a garden center, 3 houses in a scenic neighborhood, so they need to be landscaped, a 3-star chalet, and a high rental income of $12,000 per tick. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. Angelino's telling me that we've already hit a career earning of $10 million, and I'm just going to go ahead and start building my houses right away. Just to catch you guys up, we've gotten up to a chalet. We've purchased the blueprints for that. Also, which has come down, is a fire station, which we need to purchase blueprints for. We've also gotten some historic landmarks, a historic square, and later on the game just becomes more complex, fun, challenging, as you deal with new structures, new challenges, new opportunities, and new mission objectives. So I'm going ahead building my second chalet, and I'm going to go ahead and sell one, as I'm going to need the income for more materials. And look at that. Already put it up for sale, already have an offer. You get to accept or reject whenever you get an offer. Once you accept it, the house goes gray and you don't get it again, considering, well, you sold it. I'm going to go ahead and purchase some more property. Demolish out. I want to turn that cottage into something a little more high scale because I'm going to need that income later on in the game. In addition, I'm also going to need a few more workers, so I'm going to go ahead and hire a few more. And we're going to go ahead and build another chalet. And we're going to go ahead and build another chalet. Now, landmarks, as a point to note, increase what's known as your appeal. Up at the top here we have an appeal factor. An appeal factor means what's the curb appeal? How interesting to the eye is it for someone to move into this area? A landmark increases that curb appeal. In the same regard, a service structure or a garden center or a workshop or a sawmill or even a bank can turn that appeal into a negative value. Well, things are starting to move a little quicker, as you can tell. Structures need repair. Things are being sold a little quicker. So I'm just going to keep moving, rolling with the punches. Again, I'm going to start turning these cottages into higher scale chalets because I'm going to need that better income. There we go. Now we're really moving along here. We've got a good baseline income going on with these higher costed structures. Tenants make a little more money to move into these jobs, so they're certainly going to pay a little bit more in rent. Now let's see, we also need a garden center, so let's take a look at that. We need 5 workers, which we've got, 1,200 materials, and we have the blueprint, so we just need more money. So I'm going to go ahead and sell one of our chalets. Now you might notice that I'm not just building these structures. I've got to sell them, I've got to landscape them, I've got to upgrade them, I've got to manage them. So there's a little more thinking involved, there's a little more engagement. So you're not just waiting for something to happen, like, example, waiting for your crops to grow, or waiting paint to dry. You're actually moving throughout the game, and the game gets faster as you learn, and that learning curve comes a little steeper, and it's still an overall fun experience. I've been playing this game for years, and I still pick it up every once in a while. I'm going to go ahead and build our garden center. And I've got no workers available. Well, just the one guy. So we're going to need to wait a second here. And I'm going to need more materials considering we're going to be doing a lot of landscaping. Now, landscaping is similar to painting. You use some materials and you gain a nice benefit to your appeal. So if you noticed, ever since we built this garden center, now we have a -10 appeal, as it's also demonstrated in the top center of the screen. That's our net appeal. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the best we can to landscape and start to beautify some of these places, considering one of our mission objectives is 3 landscaped houses. And on top of that, one is a 3-star chalet, which we're going to finish up right now in the upper left. Landscaping, just like painting and upgrades, increases the value of the property and makes it more expensive. And look at that. Easy stuff. Again, we're only on level 13 of 45. But as you can see, different structures, different strategies, more elements keep you engaged. Some of these levels are quick, but they won't be all the time. So I recommend you give this one a try. You can go ahead to Hipsoft and download the demo. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description for you guys. And if you like it after you've given it a try, I highly recommend you pick it up. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or hit me up on Facebook. I'll catch you guys later.